everyone, it's Kay from the Paper Shed. Hope you're all doing well today. I wanted to start a video on the full journal to finish process, so start to finish. I don't know how long it will take, but I've been collecting all my poppy bits and pieces to make a poppy journal, and I wanted to do it as my sort of autumn thing, really. And I sort of wanted to show you the process from making the journal and collecting all my bits and pieces. So I've collected all of these. Everything is poppy themed. A lot of it is from Julie's kit. There is some other bits and pieces from other from other digitals that I've got. And I've just collected in a box sort of my lace. I did some seam binding. I dyed some seam binding. I've cut all of the ephemera out, so all the little bits and pieces. I literally haven't made anything. I've literally just cut them out. I don't know if I'll use it all or not, but I just wanted to sort of show you the actual process of how I start a journal and how it all gets put to the finish line. So I started with this red material. I mean, I can get material here in the abundance, but I just couldn't find anything to do with poppies. And to be honest, there's that many poppies on these beautiful papers that it didn't really bother me. So I looked for a sort of red. Now you can't tell on the camera, but it is a sort of mottled red. It's got shade in it. And when I start a journal, usually, especially if it's a fabric journal, a soft cover, I normally put some, it's like a sponge, a flat sponge, and that goes inside, and I have another piece of material and that gets all sewn in. And the last time I did a journal like that, I actually put in a piece of felt, because I can get that here as well. So I put in a piece of felt. Once I'd done my cover, I didn't feel like it was hard enough. Not hard, because I didn't want it hard. I wanted a soft cover. But I didn't feel it was, there wasn't enough strength in it. So I got a piece of felt and I made some pockets for the inside. And all I did was I just sewed down each side and down the middle. And then I sewed up one of them. You can go right the way through if you want. I just sewed the back up. So I'd got two pockets at the back and I've got a big pocket at the front of the journal. But it sort of made it really, really sturdy. So I thought with this one, because I got some red, I thought what I'd do is I'd actually make my journal cover as part of the felt. So I'm literally going to sew all the way around here, and that is going to be my journal cover. I'm going to decorate obviously the front of it, and this one I'm making quite small. I am not doing it very, very big. I'm making it quite a small journal because I always tend to make, big journals. It's only going to have one signature, so I'm hoping that it's not going to take that long to do. And yeah, we're going to decorate it. So yeah. So that's the start of my process. So what I would do now is I would go to my machine. I would sew all the way around it and down the middle. I need to mark that actually. Mark down the middle, and then what I'm going to do with this excess is I'm just going to cut it down there and trim it up there, and then that will literally be my cover. I'm not going to do anything else. Now I will do another video on a hardcover base because I know that a lot of base, a lot of the covers are hard based, and I just want to show you the different processes really. So yeah, so we're going to go away and I'm going to do that and then I'll be back. Okay, so I'm back. What I did was I just sewed a couple of, went round there just a couple of times. I then decided I wanted to put this black lace on the middle, which I've done and I've sewn it in. And then I thought, what about my closure? Because before I start sticking anything to the front or back of this, I want to make sure that I've got a closure in place. So I've just sewn that in, and all I do is I sew it in this part here. I'm probably going to put something over that anyway, even if it was just something, I don't know yet. We'll have to see. So yes, I've just used some seam binding. I haven't done enough to go right the way around it. I've just done enough for it to tie. And yeah, I just need to clean away these bits of threads. Now, there was a dark green in my sewing machine, and because I literally hate having to thread my needle, I thought, well, I'll leave the dark green in and see what it looks like, and I actually quite like it. So I haven't used a black thread, but I mean, you know, you do you. It is what it is. I've gone around the second time and been a bit messy, purely because I can't sew in a straight line at all. I'm not a sewer. I used to be years ago when I was at school. I need to sort of make sure that I know which is my front. So this is going to be my front. This is going to be my back. Now I was hoping that the felt would work okay, but I'm finding it's a little bit too, you know, it doesn't want to stay in place as a cover. But I'm hoping that putting stuff on the front and that will help. So I trimmed off my excess. So all I did was I just snipped it and tore. Now on some fabrics you'll have to be careful when you're doing that, because it won't always work depending on the bias of your material. I mean, I sort of overly stretched this bit, but I didn't want to cut edge, so I had to persevere. So I did pick up a couple of red, because I never use red. I did pick up a couple of these red flowers, and I actually quite like them. So I don't know. So I got a few bits and pieces that I like. While I've got the sewing machine out, I went round a couple of tags because I know that I'm going to use those. So I went round a couple of tags. That one hasn't got anything on it. This one though, and this one, I printed off some vellum sheet with these tags on. So I've just matched the vellum sheet to the tags, and I've sewn around it. Got a nice feel to them. I didn't put this one on because I'm just going to do something a little different with this one. I don't know what yet, even if it's just to add it on, to keep it over the top of a page or something. I don't know. I'm thinking, I'm not actually thinking anything. So I just went round a couple of tags because I know that I will definitely use those, and I didn't know whether I wanted one for the front. Would I want one for the front? Maybe. Oh, I don't know. I don't like it. So, I mean, I do love this picture, and I've gone round one just to have a look. I do like it, but it needs more. And I don't know what that is yet. So, I don't know. I mean, I do like the flowers, and I loved the pink rose one that I did. But you know, it's too sort of it's a bit too, how can I put it? It makes it too feminine looking, doesn't it? So I'm thinking black card, and I'm thinking quite a dark, stain. So I'm using brushed corduroy for this, and I'm going to do the outside a bit darker, and then I'll come in. I do like that green when you've got the green on here. It actually looks quite nice, but I really just didn't want to rethread my sewing machine. It is lazy. I do know that's lazy. But it takes me ages. Oh, and if it snaps, if it snaps the it snaps the cotton while you're sewing. It does want to make me swear. So that's nice. Yeah, see, I like that now. I've inked it up. It sort of makes me want to ink this. I don't think it'd ink, would it? No, I don't think it does it really? I have done it on some of my material ones. I think with it being red. I think it needs to go on the back of something black. So I'm just going to get a piece of black card. Just bear with me a second. What do you think? I think that needs to go on something black. I think we need to layer it up as it's the front. And then I think we need to layer it on this more. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. Let me put those snips away. So I'll just use this. Where's my gluey book? I'm using a Sudoku puzzle one at the minute. So I'm just going to press that down. Let me move that out of the way because it keeps flipping open. And then I'm just going to pop that down. And I'll just get my bone folder and just squash that down a bit because of the sewing. It just helps flatten it a little bit better. And then we'll cut that out. Yeah, I don't know whether to back some of these actually. I might back them on some black card. I think that will look nice. But I'm going to give, I'm going to cut that out. I'm hoping when I've got that book in there, that's not going to keep flapping. Because if it does, it's going to be hard to use. Okay, so I've got that one out. Let's just have another look and see what we can do. See, I do like it. I do think that black helps as well. But I think it needs a bit more. Do you? What though? They're too dark. I really ought to put all my bits out so that I can see what I've got. And from the fallen came the freedom. I do like that. I like that. And I like that. That's like a cigarette card. But I think they need to be backed, do you, on black. Sorry, you can't see what I'm doing. Oh, see, I quite like that on camera. That red's amazing on my screen. Oh, I don't know. Decisions. What else have I got? Let's see if I can pull some other bits out and see what we've got. poppies. Even if it's just to make a little bit of a cluster. See the stamps now, I do like that card though, and I like the fact that it's taller. Yeah, I like that. That's too similar. And I do like that quote, which goes on there, and then this could come this side. And then we could put poppies up there. I'm unsure. I don't know. I think I'm going to go away and have a play, because you don't want to watch me go through the process of this. Otherwise this video is going to be forever. I don't know. Okay, so I've made a decision. I've had lots of bits and pieces out, and I've had a bit of a play, which is all that you can do really when you're trying to make a decision about something. And I've decided on this sort of thing here. Okay, I've decided I'm not going to use any of these. I'm not overly keen. I mean, I don't mind the black ones actually. Maybe. They're not exactly poppies though, are they? See what I mean? When you're making a decision, it's hard, isn't it? See, but then that's gonna... No. Maybe towards the end, once I've started, you know, getting the book a bit together. So we're going to pop, this is the first thing that's going to go down, is this one. And I'm going to use my Collall because it's going onto fabric and I want it to stick. Art glitter does stick actually to fabric, but this also gives you a bit of leeway and, you know, wiggle room if you want to put it in certain places, although it will make this black card run the colour. Okay, so I think that's sufficient. Let's just see where that's got to go on, but it's got to go on over that corner. So I sort of want it a little higher up, don't I? A little bit behind there, behind that bit of lace, and on an angle. That's how I want it. So just going to hold that down a little bit and give that a good... I haven't put any glue on this bit because I want it to be left. Then this is going to go here across there, so I'll get that on. I want to leave those extra bits of threads. Okay, then I want a little bit of this lace on the bottom. There is a right and a wrong way for this, I think. Just going to tack that on to centralise it there. And then I decided on this. I couldn't put the fabric journal one on because it was just too white. I just didn't like it. So we went with this, which I think is quite nice. So we'll just darken that up a little. I just need to centralise that onto there. Make sure that's straight. Oh yes, I liken it a little. I've just put this clip on because of the felt. It's flapping open all the time. So let me lift those off for a minute, and that's where that's got to go. So I want to stick that lace onto here. And then I want to pop this down And that lace, I want it to be fairly straight. That's too far over now. So this is next, but I want to stick that behind when I know that I've got this in place. So, yeah, that's got to cover that edge. That's got to come a bit further up that way. And then that's got to go in behind there to cover that bit of lace. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, so if we just stick this for now, half of this in the right place. Where's the right place? About there. Yeah. Then we're going to stick that bit there because that's the bit that I want on the label. So I just want to stick that onto there. Okay, now I want that to cover that. So this label's in the wrong place. It's got to go up a tad. Up a tad. And then this one can get pushed in down to about there. Yeah, so let's get this on. So I'd already inked around everything to save you having to watch me do that. It's about right, isn't it? What do we think? Yeah, I like that. So I'm going to lift this and this up now, and I'm just going to glue these into place as well. Oh, I'm quite liking that. Yeah, hope you do. It's just a process. I just sort of want to show newbies, because there's quite a few newbies out there that I've read comments and that about just lately, and I thought if we just do a full sort of short video, but well, not short, it's not going to be short, this is going to be quite long, but if I break it up into sections rather than do a series, I mean, if anybody prefers me to do a series from start to finish and show you the full process of a hardcover journal, then let me know, because I will do it. I'm sort of into folios and that a little bit more just lately, but yeah. So I hope you like the front cover, and I hope you like the process behind it. Yours would look completely different to this, so we have to show you the different ways. So I'm going to go away and I'm going to prep my papers and book, my journal for the inside cover, and then we're going to sew it in together. And so that you can see that process, and then we'll get on and do the ephemera side of things and putting the bits and pieces onto your pages. So I hope you've enjoyed it so far. Stay with me. I am sure that you'll enjoy the rest. See you in a bit. Okay, so we've completed our cover as much as we can for the moment. So we're going to move on to making the signature for the inside. And for this purpose, I'm only doing one signature this time. You can put as many signatures as you want. The process is exactly the same. I'm trying to use up what I had left of what I printed from the Poppy kit, from the collab. So that's the purpose of doing this. So what I want to do is make the signature. So the first process is we need to find out approximately how wide our signature needs to be and the length. So mine is 8 1/4 by 5. Yours may be different, so you need to just do this process to sort your signature out. So I'm going to do mine about 4 3/4 wide and about 8 high. Now, if you want them to come right to the edge like a book, you just follow the same guidelines as that and just do it from your measurements. So I've selected some papers and I'm going to put about, I don't know whether to do 15 or 20. I might put about 15 in. So I have different ones set up already and they're double-sided so that you can get a, you know, page. Now, when I fold this one, so I'm just going to fold that in half. When I fold this one, I'm getting just over, yeah, so I wouldn't be able to get anything in that anyway. So at the moment, I'm just going to fold each one in half. That's the easiest way to do it. And if you have extra long pieces or you have shorter pieces like this, for instance, now you could, because this one, is this one any longer? No, it's only 5.5, so you wouldn't get it anyway. Okay. Because what I normally do with other pieces or bigger pieces is, like when I've done coffee dyed paper, I've sort of put a lip. So we'll do that on this for this instance. And then I fold it in half. Now you will get a shorter piece, but it doesn't matter with your signatures. So for the odd ones, I'm going to do a lip. Do it the other way, do it the other way. That's better. This just gives you an option of a pocket or a tuck spot. And I'm going to do them in various places. Okay, so you've got all of your pieces here. Just move that out of the way. So I've got all my pieces here of what I think I might put in. I think that's going to be too much for one signature. So usually you would put between, I would say anything from 10 to 15 into one signature pages, which would give you between 20 and 30 pages altogether, obviously, because you fold them in half. So I'm actually gonna, let me just put these into the pieces because I want to split them up. I don't want them all to be the same. That's sort of ledger, that's one of those. Ledger, check. Those two are the same as well. That's ledger. Okay, so I'm going to use, in this instance, only because I haven't got a full page of poppy left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use just a piece of craft and I will decorate the front of it as my first signature. So what we're going to do is we are going to just take a page of each and start putting them in together. Now, if you have some of these ones with the pockets that you've done, then just put them periodically in between. I don't want that one there. Put a piece of ledger in. And don't worry that some of them are smaller, you know, shorter. It's perfectly okay with a signature. I don't know how many I've got or whether I need to. Hang on. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12, 13, 14, and I want a double one, don't I, for the middle, and we'll have that one. So I'm going to put 15 in mine because that's quite chunky now, and that's perfectly fine for what I need. Now, the reason mine it will be thicker is because I'm using a thicker card because of what I've printed on. If you're using copier paper, you can get probably away with about 20 pages, but I wouldn't put more than that into one signature. So we need to get the middle, and we want to get those right in there for this. Okay, so we need those pages right in there. Whatever you're going to use for the cover of your signatures, you're going to need to do that as well and add that in. So now what we want to do is, if you stand it up to make sure all your pages are in place and where you want them, get your nail or your thumb and really push in that corner, and then get a peg and hold that there. Do the same to the other side. So you're going to push all of those creases in as far as you can get them, as close together as possible. And then you're going to do that. We're going to cut it up afterwards to make it the size that we want it. We just want to get it sewn into place for now. Then you get your pokey tool or whatever it is. You can use a pokey tool. You can use, where's my brayer on? My arm, sorry, not my brayer. I generally keep a piece of cork with my sharp brayer in. I keep calling it a brayer. My awl in. These usually come in a bookbinding kit, which is what I bought initially. And it'll come with a larger eyed needle as well. So I always keep those usually together. But we're only doing 15 pages, so I'm just going to use my pokey tool. It's wide enough, and the needle that I'm going to use will go through quite easily. So I'm going to sort of just eyeball the middle of my book, and I'm just going to stick that through there. And as you can see, it goes all the way through. Okay. And then just wiggle it around a little bit, make sure that all's certainly there. Then about an inch from the top, I'm going to do the same thing. And I always close my book so that you're getting the crease, because you want these holes to appear on your fold line. If it's slightly off, I would redo it, because it will create a twist in your signature. So just give it a bit of a wiggle. Do the same from the bottom, another inch in, close my pages together and push through. I'm struggling with that a little bit, purely because I've used thicker paper to print on this time instead of copier paper. But with copier paper, you shouldn't have a problem at all. And then what I'm going to do then is I'm going to choose what thread I'm using. Now you can use any thread to sew a signature. You can use embroidery threads, which I've used in the past quite a lot. I used to just match my colours to my projects. So I have quite a range of colours in embroidery thread. And it works perfectly fine. I've used twine, different twines to sew them up. I've even used, when I've had nothing, I've even used this sort of, it's a semi, I mean, it's strong. It's not like normal cotton that you would put in a sewing machine. This is a cotton pearl. I don't know what it is, but it's just a cotton thread that I think people use this to crochet with. I couldn't crochet with that, but never mind. Well, I can't crochet, so it doesn't matter. And I've used that before. That's quite thin, but it works. It's fine. And then I've used hemp cord. I just like these because they come in different colours. So you can get the neutrals pack and you can get a green, which also has the black in it, which I've used before. So you can use virtually anything. There's also obviously the book binding ones, which are the waxed cord. Now all these is more or less this, a little bit thicker than that, and it's just waxed. And I do quite like it. You get a tighter knot. You can, it does finish your work off a little bit better. But anything, honestly, anything will work. So please don't feel like you've got to go and buy lots of different things to do a signature, because you just don't. So we're going to use this one today, and it's usually 3. The rule is normally 3 heights of your book. 1, 2, and I didn't get 3 out of there, but never mind. It will go, I will promise you. It's normally 3. So you do 3 heights of your book for your thread. If you want to save on your thread, use it off the roll. Just thread the end of your needle. Thread the end of your needle and use it off the roll, because when you come to the end, you can just snip it once you've made your knot, and you don't need any, you don't use any waste. Now there's 2 ways to do a 3-hole pamphlet fold. It will all depend on where you want your knot. If you want it on the inside or the outside. Generally speaking, most people leave it on the inside. So generally speaking, it goes on the inside. So you start from the inside in that case. If you wanted your knot on the outside, you would start from the outside of your project. So we're going to wiggle that needle through there, and then you're not going to pull all the way through. You're going to leave a tail just on the bottom there. And then it doesn't matter whether you go top or bottom or whichever way you want to go. You just go to your next hole and you feed that through this way. Okay, then you come all the way down on the inside to your 3rd and last hole. Pull that through there. And then this then goes in there. Now, you don't want to go through this thread. You've got to feed your needle through here. So I would pull it to the side so that you have got the biggest part of the hole showing. And then, because you don't want to go through your thread. If you go through your thread, you won't be able to tighten your signature or your thread. So I have only just enough thread there. So I'm going to take my needle off and pop it on my magnet. Then what I'm going to do is you want one piece on one side of this thread, and you want the other piece on the other side. And then you're going to just tug it a little bit, but not too much that it rips your holes. And then all you're going to do is knot it in the middle. And I always double knot. Now you can leave those hanging or you can just cut it off. In this instance, I'm just going to cut it off. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get a bit of glue, and I'm just going to stick it on that knot so that my 2 ends will glue against there. Just give that a squish. You can use your bone folder, make sure that squishes into line there and into line there. There we go. And that should be enough. I'm going to leave that to dry for a minute. You don't have to do that bit. I just like to do it because I cut my threads quite low. I like to do it just to be on the safe side. So we're just going to leave that to to dry, on the other side you will see that you've got your threads. And you know, they're not overly tight, but you don't want them overly tight to rip these holes down. But yeah, and then what we'll do is we will just bone fold everything down now. Okay, so now we've got a nice signature there. Now, I didn't put it into my my cover at this stage because I'm not sure how I want to put it in at the moment. I'm going to think about it. And if you do, I mean, you can cut this up to the size that you need. So obviously we've got a book. This one is going to be a little bit, that'll actually work, I think, height-wise. So height-wise, it's perfect. So this, although I measured the cover at the beginning, this is how I like to do it in reality, because rather than rely on the measurements, it's so much easier to get your cover to your signature and then work out how you want to alter that to fit your cover. Now, a lot of people tend to make the signatures and then do the covers afterwards. I prefer this process because I've done it in the past where I have made signatures up and then had to create the cover afterwards. And sometimes it just doesn't work. And if you're sewing it, you can create puckers and all sorts of things. I just find it a lot easier to do it this way round. If you're doing a cardboard cover, that's fine. But again, because of the way that we attach the spines to the covers, and I mean, I'll do a hardcover video so that you understand what I'm talking about. But if you did a hardcover, for instance, like this one, so this is a hardcover book that was made from a from some packaging. Okay, so it's just made out of cardboard. I've done I've done a big, this is an ideas book that I'm putting together at the moment. So I made a larger spine. You wouldn't normally make it this big unless obviously you wanted to, but you can. So your spine would be here, but by the time that you've done your cover and that and so on and so on, it always works out a little different in measurements. So I always think it's easier to make the cover and then put everything else in to make it fit, if that makes sense. So this is a, yeah, this is what an art cover would look like. I love this material, actually. It's gorgeous. And it's just covered on the inside with a bit of craft card. I've put 4 signatures in there, as you can see. And it's just lovely. I love it. So that's a hardcover book. And yeah, going back to this, see, initially I was going to cut the 1/4 inch off, but that fits perfectly on that red felt. So I'm not going to do that. So what I'm going to do now is I am just going to mark the top. So it can sort of go to the felt. Where's the felt on the back? Yeah. It can sort of go to the felt in this instance because we've got this tatty edge here, which I want to keep. And if we take it to the felt, it will be fine. So what we're going to do now we've got that one is I'm going to line it up on my mat. Okay, so I'm going to line it up top and bottom, make sure that it's straight. And I've got that on 12, so I want to mark 12 down here. And then what I'm going to do is I like to use a smaller ruler. And I'm going to have to stand up for this. So I've marked it and I've now got it straight. there. And then I'm going to get a X-Acto knife. What do you call a knife? I'm going to get a knife. Now you can use any sort of cutting knife. I've used this sort of Stanley knife in the past. I just find these smaller ones better to handle. And I'm going to pull it out slightly longer than one blade. And the reason for that is that I want to go right down to the bottom. I want to get a good grip. And then I'm not putting any pressure on. I'm just I'm just holding that in place right against my ruler, and I'm coming right the way down. Okay? And it doesn't matter that you don't get it all in one go. Keep it right along your ruler and just move away the bits as you go. If you put too much pressure on, you will just go all over the place. And you just keep going down, no real pressure at all. Just take your time and just keep moving your bits out of the way until you get to the very last bit. And all you're doing is keeping that blade right along. And my blade keeps coming out a bit further. Yeah, see as you get lower, more blade is needed, just because it helps with keeping this bit here. So this bit that holds your blade in, where are you? That bit there that holds your blade in, that sits on your ruler as you go down. So it'll help you keep it on your ruler. And then, as I say, you don't need to press very hard. You know, there is a tendency, and I'm very heavy-handed. When I first started doing this, I used to get it all wrong. And it's just knowing the way that works for you. And if you keep that part on your ruler, it will guide you down in a straight line against your ruler. Okay, we're almost there now. There we go. And you have a nice, perfect, straight edge. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Now, all of these, make sure you put your knife away and your blade away, just for safety purposes. Now, some of these you can keep. I mean, I don't keep them all, but because they're patterned and they're bits that I could use for stamps and stuff like that, I would actually keep some of these. In fact, I'm going to keep them all because none of them are that small. That one is actually, and that one is too small to keep. So I'm just going to tidy that up and put those in my stash. And then we have a book. Now, I have noticed that I've got a little bit of a lip there. See where the paper is sticking up from the top? I don't know whether I want to bother to cut that off or not. So if you now get this, you can see that that fits in there perfectly. Okay. I could have cut it down a little bit more actually, but just a tad probably. But since it's only going to be one, I'm not going to be too fussed on that. So all you would do is exactly the same process for your other ones. Obviously, the width of your spine would be a little bit wider and you would be putting more in. But you would just make them all the same size and then they would fit in and get sewn into there like so. Yeah, I like that. It's a nice fit. So what I'm going to do is I am going to do the same process, and I'm going to attach it into my signature. I wasn't going to do that. I don't know. I didn't know how I was going to fit it in or what I was going to do with it. But I just don't think that it will take a spine. I don't think it'll take elastic so that you could use the cover very well, because it's not, with it being a fabric cover, it's not stiff like it should be. So I think I'm just going to sew it in. So I'm going to need to have some black cord. Now, this is just the way that I like to do it. So we're going to have 3 of those. And what I'm going to do is I am going to put it on. I need my needle back. I'm going to pop it on with the knot on the outside, and the reason for that is that I'm probably going to use it for a dangle. So I'm going to do that now. Now, because I'm using hep cord, I might struggle to get that through my needle. Oh no, it's gone. It's gone. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to use the original holes. Where's my middle? Where's it gone? There it is. So I'm going to use the original holes. So what I want to do is I want to get this into place, and on my book, on my cover, centrally. Okay. And then I'm going to pin it down like we did initially. Now you can do this all in one go. It doesn't have to be done separately. I just done it this way because I was going to I've changed the way that I was going to do it. So you just want this central on your cover. First off. And because you're going through fabric, you don't necessarily need to do a middle hole, but I don't know where that is, so if you just bear with me. I don't want to go through the thread. Yeah, I'm going to struggle with that, aren't I? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a middle hole here, because I actually do want it to come through that middle there. There we go. So I am a little bit off. I will use the other two, but I just want to use that hole to start me off because I'm going the other way. So we're going to go through here. Because you're going through fabric, it's more fibrous and it doesn't rip. And this sometimes proves a little difficult purely because you're going through fibre, which is your material, and you just might need a hand pulling that through. There we go. So we want to leave a tail like we did before. Doesn't have to be that long, but I'm going to use the same holes on this particular one to go through to the other side. And again, you'll probably need to come up and pull it through with something that you can grab hold of. Okay, and then we're going to go all the way down to the bottom one, which if I use the poker tool I can see where that is. Okay, so that's going to go into there. Take my poker tool out. It's just giving me a guideline of where that is. There we go. Okay. And then what we want to do is go through that middle again. So I want to move this out of the way. Just let me pull that through that side. I just want to pull that out of the way while I put this in, because again, you don't want to go through your thread because you won't get it tight enough. I'm just going to pull that through. There we go. If you have the strength to do it without those, that's great, but I don't always. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten it. I've only used black this time because it's going on the outside. So make your first knot, make your second knot, and then you can pull. So we've tightened that up. I'm actually not going to take these off at the moment because, like the process of any journal, it evolves as you go along. So you can plan and process as much as you want, but as you go along, things change and things alter. So I'm going to leave those because I may put beads on. I may decide in the end that I don't want to, and I may just want to have something over this part of the journal. So I'm going to see. But now you have your first signature in your cover, or your signatures in your cover, however many you've decided to do. See, I'm aware that that lace is crooked, and although it's not overly noticeable, I can see it, and it's really annoying. So I've got to do something to take that away. And this is what I'm trying to say. When you're, creating, really, you can plan it as much as you want, but things change and alter as you go through the process. So, okay, so I sorted out a few of my ephemera pieces, and I've got plenty of things to be going on with here. So I'm going to put this little file folder here, and I'm going to make a double pocket out of it. I just want to ink that bit there, just so that it's not completely white. And I'm going to stick that there with a couple of tags in. So we'll do that. I'm only going to do a few pages of ephemera just to sort of guide you through what you do with the rest of the book and ideas and things that may come into play. And then that'll complete the process. You just fill it as much or as little as you want. Decorate it up how you want to do it. So I'm going to stick that. I'm going to have to use Fabri-Tac or Collall or something on this one. Do I want? Yeah. So I want this side to be stuck down, and I'm just going to make it into a pocket. So when you're using a kit, it's actually quite easy to do the ephemera side. So by the time you've cut all your kit out and you've cut the fabric, your pieces out, you more or less have the rest of your ephemera to go in. What I'm going to do as well is I'm going to glue that down. So it does make it easy when you use a kit. If you don't use a kit and you just have papers, which I prefer to do, a kit's nice, but I think I do enjoy making ephemera because I don't use a lot of it. It doesn't take over the whole of the process. So I like to make things up as I go along with my books. And, you can create any of this without a kit. It's not difficult to do. So I've got a pocket at the back and I've got a pocket here. So I'm going to pop those two in there, and that just adds a little bit of journaling space to that. Plus, you know, when you're out and about and you've got your journal and you've got receipts or anything else, shopping lists, whatever, you can just tuck them in there. So I'm going to put, I'm going to use these because so I'm just going to put me a couple of these in and stick a bit of ribbon in there. And we'll have finished that page. So that was quite quick and easy to do. As I say, when you've got the ephemera from a kit, it's quite easy to do. And yeah, I'm just going to use a bit of this to go in there. And I'll just make that one a bit shorter. So there's that one. How pretty. Now pull it both through. That's it. And then just feed that through. Through there. That's it. Yeah, you've got a second pocket there. So that's cute. I'm going to do a cluster because this is my signature cover. So I just want to do a cluster on here. And the best way really I've found when you're doing clusters, I'm going to use this because a lot of it's going to be covered up. And I do want to have it so that it's not got straight edges. So I'm just going to take that off there. And what I think I'll do is I'll use a piece of this. I dyed some of this for a different project yesterday, and I thought, oh, could use that because of how bright red it is. So I'm going to use a bit of that. I've also found some black music ribbon, which I had. So we're going to start with a biggish base, which I'm going to ink. Just to get rid of those white. I don't want to grunge too much, although I do like this kit grunged up. So how much of this do I want? It's folded over. So you could just stick it directly onto there and then place this on the top, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm literally just going to go around to where I think it might touch. And then I'm just going to place it down in those areas like so. Because when you start sticking anyway, it will get stuck down. So yeah, that'll fit nicely there. And you can pull it apart, you can get your poker tool and sort of place it wherever you think you might need it. So we're going to start with that. This is going to be our base. So now we just need some sort of other bits. I love this, and it's not part of it, but I like the fact that we've got a sort of music on there, and this dragonfly. So I'll just halve that a little bit. I like this red bit on the top. So I'm just going to make the edges less straight. And then I think we could use this twice. So I think I could maybe cut that across there. I'm going to ink it up just so that I can see the effect. So even though you have a kit and you've got plenty of ephemera, don't be shy to, you know, make your own things out of them, because it's sort of part of the process. I'm going to hold my piece. I like that red. Yeah, I quite like that. Just put those in the bin. And then I had some bits and pieces, didn't I, from the pages, if you remember. So I could use, why do they not? Could use a few of these, just as, you know, added pieces, which I'll have a look at in just a sec. I've got a couple of stamps and some circles and some words. And I've also got this. Oh, see, I like that now. See, that's quite nice. I want that dragonfly. I mean, I'm making quite a big cluster here. You don't always make them this big. And you do want it to fit, obviously, on your page. I like that. It does need something to... So I do quite like that. Let me just stick a staple in that, just so that I can... Oh, I need to... Sorry, I need to just ink this if I'm going to use it. I need to get rid of those white areas there. And because I haven't cut in between, I'm going to need to just darken that white off a little bit in there, just so it's not completely in your face. Yeah, just try it in different places, because no, you sort of want it. Yeah, I like that. I'm feeling like a label. I need a label of some sort, and I need some other different... I want to just take this line off here, because I don't want straight lines. Okay. I'm just going to edge this, just take that white off. Okay. And then I think I'm just going to staple that, because I quite like it like that. And I do want to just staple it together, Just needs one up here somewhere. Keep those together. Okay, so that's the start. And I'm quite liking it, even though that red isn't the same. Might need to break it up with a bit of black. But I'm going to want something like this to widen that out. That wasn't my piece, was it? Where's my piece gone? I don't know where it's gone. There it is. This is the one I inked. Yes, quite like that there. Yeah, I quite like it there though. Quite like that there. Yeah, so I like that. Then, yeah, I could do something a bit bright, couldn't you? And then a word maybe. I don't particularly like. I like poppy fields. I quite like this little word, but I think I do feel, oh no, that one would go quite nice there. So I'm quite liking that. I found while I was mooching for some bits, some of this music ribbon. So I don't know how big I need it. So I'm just thinking that maybe let me ink these up. Get rid of that white on those edges. On those stamps. When I cluster, I tend to over cluster, so you know, take no notice of the way that I'm clustering. If you just like 2 or 3 pieces together, then you do that. Don't feel like you have to do it this way. I just quite like I don't know where that was now. Yeah, just try and need it to be. I want to see the poppies, but I don't want it to be the same shape as that. And then I thought maybe just to break that red up, because this is such a different red, is to just stick that. Oh, I like that. Oh yes, I think we've done. So I'm going to stick this down onto, I don't know whether they're supposed to have come out, have they? I'm going to stick this down, or I'll tell you what I'll do is I will glue that on, because that's definitely going to go on somewhere, and we'll start sticking it together. Yeah, that's on there. I like that there, so I'm going to pop, I'm just going to go and put some glue behind all of this so that it's all stuck down and in place, but not before I stick that where I need it to go. And then these are going to be stuck to here. I didn't quite get this side. Yeah, and I wanted this in here somewhere. So I wanted that sort of into there. No, not like that. That's a little better. So I think that's all stuck now. And then I'm going to stick this down the side of here. Like so. And then I'm going to pop that onto there. So I need to stick all this on. At this point you can take the staples out if you've put staples in. I don't usually bother. It is what it is. But you can take them out if you don't want them in your work. I mean, I tend to colour my staples anyway. Up a little bit higher. There we go. I want to just stick that down quite firmly. And then I need to just ink that Poppy Fields and pop that on. I do want to stick this down there, it's annoying. Yeah, your Art Glitter Glue will stick fabric, but it is best to use Fabri-Tac if you have it. If you don't though, you're not stuck, because lots of things will actually stick fabric. I mean, when I do a fabric cover, like the journal that I showed you, the hardback journal that I showed you a bit ago, I stick that fabric onto that board with glue stick, and I just use a cheap make. These are Cube Connect 40-gram glue sticks, and you can get 12 in a pack for about £10. So it's quite a cheap one, but it is effective and it's good. So I'm just going to ink this up. Like so, and then I'm going to place this on the top, and that is going to be the front cover of my signature. So I'm quite liking that. I think that's coming together rather nice. Yeah, don't be afraid to use your lace or your trimmings on the edges of your pages, because that always looks nice. We can do, what can we do on the inside? We can pop a pocket on the inside. The tags. These are slightly too big, but I could cut it down to become a double pocket, or I could just cut that off. I think I'll cut it off and just create a quick little pocket on there. So you can do all sorts with these pockets. You know, stack them, put one on top of each other. You can make, shall we notch it? We could notch it if you want. You don't have to do it in the middle. When it's just one pocket, I tend not to. But if you do want to do it in the middle, the best way to do it is use your board, pick where you want your middle to be. So pick one of the darker lines and then make it equal either side of that line. Then you've got your middle. Mark it with a pencil, and then when you put your circle on, put that in the middle thereabouts, and just nip your circle out. I tend to do them at the sides if I'm just putting one pocket on. If I'm doing several pockets, then I will cut them all together. So if I was stacking them, so if I was having stacked pockets like this, I would put them all together, find the middle and cut it out before I stack them. So you can do them like this and put a third one on the top if you want to, and then you leave the bottom unglued, and then you can get a full page journaling card in there, then get a smaller one in this one, and then obviously this one is this small. So there's lots of options with pockets and things like that. So yeah, always play around with your paper. If you're making your ephemera like this to fit your pages, have a play, see what you like, because it is worth it. Now I know my poppies are on sideways, but I don't mind that. Now I don't really want to overfill my pockets, so I'm just going to go through and I'm just going to do these edges to make these pockets, which is what we creased in to start with, if you remember when we did our signature. I don't think there's any further down there. Oh, this is what I picked to go on the front of here. And it is a tag. So what they are is they're just pockets that have been made into a tag. I must have put them together for the last project that I did. But what I do want to do, because I want it sticking out, is I just want to make a hole and then put some things into it. So again, with a tag, if you want to do a hole, find a darker line in your book, on your mat, and then just equal it out either side of that. And it's very quick and easy then to find your, you know, where you need to put your middle, especially for tags. But it's a good, easy way to do it. Now, because I've used the pink, I'm going to use the pink again. Well, they're not pink, they're rose gold, but I can't ever see me using them, so I'm trying to get them used up in projects. Now, I have in the past, when I've had stuff, especially silver, because obviously I use a lot of the antique colours, these, and it's difficult to get here, so I'm going to have to get some when I go over home. But with the gold and the silver, I don't use them as much, but what I have done in the past is I've coloured it with a Sharpie. So if I wanted it black, for instance, now I don't know whether my Sharpies are any good. So if I wanted it black, I literally would just paint it black with a Sharpie. Obviously not while it's on your project. And it does actually stay. So it is quite a good way. And I've done that quite a lot with a few metal bits that I've used. And it does stay. I mean, it's not, you know, perfect, but at least it gets them used. In my opinion, that's the best. The back side doesn't actually matter. But I sort of wanted to, because it's slightly bigger than my page, I could have cut it across and just made it square. But because it was a tag shape and it sticks over the top, this will stick over the top of my journal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed those through there. And there's different ways to tie your tags up. You don't have to do it this way. You can just feed it through and then knot it. And yeah. So this now will sit here because I want it to hide that sew line. So I don't want it in the middle. So what I'm thinking of doing actually is I might leave, I don't want to leave the top. Well, I do want to leave the top because I just want it to show from there. But what I want to do is put it in there, and I think I'm going to have a pocket here. But I'm going to do the pocket from just under that line. So I'm going to glue it from that line and then down and round. So we're going to do that. I'm going to use art glitter. So we're going to go like this under there. And like I said, I do apologise, my camera went off. So yes, so I've stuck it on, and then what I did was I found some sort of journaling card bits that I had and some tags to sort of fill this up. So I like to use a lighter, you know, this is quite grunged, it's quite dark. And, you know, when you use the tags to match the kit, you know, unless you've got plain ones, they're all very similar. So you don't see the effect of, you know, what is there. So I like to use lighter pieces. I haven't inked around these. I will do. Got to see what I mean. You can't really see that effect as much as you can with these. So I like to make my own sort of journal cards and ephemera up as I go along. So I'm just going to add those two. These with the vellum on the top are absolutely lovely. They feel amazing. And yeah, and I put that there. So I think it might be safe enough to take these off now. I think that's fine. We could have cut this off obviously here, so that we didn't actually have this, but I just wanted that sticking out of the top, so I've left it as is, but you can do whatever you want to do with yours. Now I think with the envelopes that I had, I have just literally popped them on over a page and used them as a flip so that it leaves your journal space in completely free. And then you've got a little pocket here that you can put, you know, bits and pieces in. I've made a couple of little journaling cards up out of some of the pieces that I had left. And, you know, all you really need to do is, you know, you've got this piece of paper left and you just think, oh, I'd like that as a card. So you just cut it and edge it and be done with it. If you want to embellish them or put words on them or do whatever, you know, that is entirely up to you. You have to remember, though, that the more that you put in, the more you will bulk your journal out. So this is what I'm trying to say, is you just need to just make these. So rather than have them in your stash as a, you know, something to play with, if you have any bigger pieces of paper left out of any kits, just make these up in all different sizes in whatever you want. And they come in so easy, you know, you can use them for almost anything. You could fold that up and you could make a little file folder by putting a tab on it. You could use it as it is with a journal card. You can use it as a back for a cluster feed. You can use it for all sorts. And they're just so handy just to have and flip through what fits, what doesn't. So they are always really good to have. I have just gone through the book and glued up all of my pockets so that my pockets are glued. Again, another envelope. I've left it so that it can be tucked underneath. You don't need to do that. And again, you've got another little bit there without encroaching on your journal pages. Another one there. We've got another ticket. Yeah, we've got this. So we can stick things in. Again, this was another one that I just cut up from a piece of card that was left over. So it's you know, they're quite good, and it makes filling up your journals fairly quickly and easily. Now I've got a pocket there. You don't have to put things in your pocket. You can you know, you can leave them for them to be filled up as and when they're used and needed. So you don't need to do all of this, but I thought that we would just go through. So what I'm going to do now, that's another one, and I've glued it, and I've left that as a tuck spot. And then I think that was it. And then, so that's your back and that's your front. And to be honest, most of that is completed now. Now that's already getting quite chunky, so I don't really want to be adding any more into that. So I'm going to go away and decide what I'm going to do with this. And then when I'm completed, what I will do is I will give you a complete flip through at the end so that you can see exactly what we made and how we made it. So yeah, I'll be back. Okay, so the final result. I'm quite happy with it. It's a nice little journal. I have popped a little piece across there with an eyelet in, just to secure it. I haven't done one on the back because I'd already put the pocket on the back of the back page, so I couldn't do it that way. But yeah, so I'm quite happy with the way it turned out. I love the cover. It's quite nice, really, for what we for the time that we had. So this is the inside pocket, and again, you can embellish and do clusters and do all sorts of things to your bits and pieces. I just wanted to make it as easy and as quick as possible for you to be able to see the whole process. The decoration side of it is entirely up to you and the way that you want to put it together. So I've just done another large cluster there just for the front of my journal. And then as we go through, we have lots and lots of journaling cards and tuck spots and pockets. These ones have got pockets in them as well, in that pocket, which I quite like those. And these were all just made up of any bits of card that I had. So I literally have just got my materials left, which will always come in for other things. But with the paper, the decorative papers and stuff that I had left, I literally did just make up some quick little journaling cards, and I've used everything that I had. So there's a few journaling pages there. I've got some more journaling cards here, which I made out of the spare papers that were left. You know, if you have used papers, just back them onto card. If you've used cards, then you can just literally just make them up. I would generally decorate these. You can stamp them, you can put clusters on them, you can do whatever you want. I haven't made any paper clips in this. No, I didn't. I haven't made any hidden paper clips in this particular design, so I haven't been able to use any. But again, I've just used all of the tuck areas for bits and pieces. Envelope there as a flip to optimize all of the journaling space. Again, more cards and a few tags there in that pocket. I've put a paper clip there just to hold these in, but that's just because it's a top loader rather than a bottom or side. And that's just a tag and another one of those, the scrap bits that I had left. So they go into there. Another pocket there. Again, you could put one of these under there because you've got a paper clip. So if you've got hidden paper clips, you can do quite a bit more. Again, another tag and another piece of the card stock that we had here. Again, some more. So it's very much similar all the way through, but you get the gist of you know, how it all comes together. Another big journaling card there and a tag. Again, more of the same there. Lots and lots of journaling space in this one. Another tuck spot there. See, this one doesn't necessarily need a paper clip because it's a side tuck. So side and bottom ones are fine. It's just when you do the top ones, they have a tendency to fall out. I popped a little bit of a pocket on this one. And I just used, so if you don't have a circular punch, I literally just made that by using this tab punch. So, you know, look at your punches and see, because you can make lots of different you know, openings for those. And then this is the back page. I popped a belly band on there with some really large journaling cards, and this was the back page with the tags and a pocket to the side with more journaling cards. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you get the gist of how it all comes together. And, you know, if you have any questions or you'd like to see a little bit more of this maybe, I definitely think a hardback cover would be a good idea to video. I know there's lots and lots out there, so you know, I'm not going to be in any rush. But yes, I've really enjoyed making that, and I hope you've enjoyed it. If you like it, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment. It all helps towards my YouTube journey, I should say. And yeah, we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.